I got this letter. Yesterday I was on Newsmax, and we were talking about the advantage Republicans now have over male voters, and I was talking about why I thought that was the case. And I said there are a number of reasons. One of them is I think a lot of men resent the idea of being accused falsely of being sexist. I said I think a lot of men resent this business that women who work the same, produce the same, make less money for exactly the same work and the same productivity as men make. I said it's a lie. I also said that the gap between men and women is often a gap between married men and women and unmarried men and women. The married women tend to vote the same way their husbands do. It's single women who vote far more left-wing than do married women. And I made a couple of other points. And I get this letter from Michelle. Dear Larry, subject, and I said 75 cents of the dollar or whatever it is they say. They raise it up every year. I think the last time I saw anybody say anything about this, the number that they gave was 87 cents on the dollar. I think Michelle Obama said it was 75%. Next year it was maybe 77%, whatever it is. Whatever it is they say, it's just not true. So subject matter, subject line, 75 cents on the dollar. Normally, I'm a big fan, but you are 100% incorrect in the comments you made on Newsmax. I've worked in accounting for years with access to pay data. Women make less doing the same job at the same quality of work. As to your other point, same years of service, and to be honest, in some cases, women have even stronger credentials. I don't like the way the administration treats men as a wife and mom of boys, but I would urge you to look at the facts and check your statement. Sincerely, Michelle. Sigh. Michelle, I don't doubt that you have access to payroll records, but those payroll records will have absolutely no information about the quality of the work being done. And there's so much data on this topic. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, let's just quote government stats. In 2023, women earned 83.6% of what men earned. And this gap is commonly attributed to gender discrimination. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you control for factors such as the occupation, such as the job level, experience, education, hours worked, the pay gap disappears. And don't take my word for it. The U.S. Department of Labor found that way back in 2009. They found that after controlling for obvious education and job differences, the so-called wage gap shrank to only 95%. And that 5% they talked about later on. The Labor Department report said, and I'm quoting, a greater percentage of women than men tend to work part-time. Part-time work tends to pay less than full-time work. A greater percentage of women than men tend to leave the labor force for children. Some of the wage gap is explained by the percentage of women who are not in the labor force during previous years, the age of women, and the number of children in the home. Women, especially working mothers, tend to value family-friendly workplace policies more than men. And some of the wage gap is explained by industry and occupation, particularly the percentage of women who work in the industry and occupation. And then they even said that 5% gap can be explained in a non-exploitation way. Quote, research also indicates that women may value non-wage benefits more than men do, such as preferring to take a greater portion of their compensation in the form of health insurance and other fringe benefits. Close quote. What's more, years ago, I'm talking about in 2011, USA Today found that young, childless, unmarried women between the ages of 22 and 30 out-earn men of the same age. Quote, women ages 22 to 30 with no husband and no kids earn a median of $27,000 a year. Again, this is 2011, 8% more than comparable. And Hispanics, women are more than twice as likely as men to earn college degrees. Close quote. So it just isn't true. Men work full-time more than women. Back in this year, 72% versus the 67%. Men work more hours per day than women, 8.3 versus 8. Even women employed full-time are more likely than men to say they would rather work part-time. And then you look in fields of study. Women may have more degrees, but the degrees that men have are higher paying degrees. Also, dangerous jobs like logging and roofing are dominated by men. They're much higher paying, and women only compose a tiny percentage of these high paying, dangerous jobs that men hold. And motherhood is an overarching motivator for the choices women make. Isn't this a good thing? So to attribute these gaps to some sort of discrimination is blatantly untrue. Furthermore, there are all sorts of laws, Equal Pay Act, 1996, Title VII, 1964, making paying women less for exactly the same work as men illegal. It just isn't true.